6 of my Feed the Beast Direwolf 21.6.4 series, solo series. And this episode is going to be pretty quick because I just wanted to go over two really interesting mods that are going to basically be in any mod pack that you ever play. And they are Not Enough Items, or people call it NEI, and Inventory Tweaks. And what both of these mods do is they basically make your life easier, and they help you actually use all of the different mods in the game. Let's get started really quickly here with Inventory Tweaks. What Inventory Tweaks does is, if I open up this chest, it basically adds these little tabs to the chest, and this basically will sort your chest based on default sorting rules. And so depending on how you would like your items sorted, you can go in and change that by changing the sorting rules. And you basically would have to change this file. Also, what you can see here is sort key R, auto refill on, and middle click on, as well as repair friendly off. You can change this to off or on, and what repair friendly off does is your tools will break and then it'll replace it if you have this similar tool in your inventory. If you put repair friendly refill on, what will happen is just before your tool breaks, it'll replace it. So if I was using this stone pick here and I had more stone picks in my inventory, like at the beginning of the game, and you're mining away and your stone pick breaks or is about to break, it would then swap it if you have repair friendly on. However, with stone picks, you probably don't really care, so usually the default is set to off. Sort key R, what that means is if I open up my inventory, as you can see, it's a jumbled mess at this point. And so if I press R, it will sort my inventory. And the way it sorts it is by item number. As you can see, it will go item number from left to right. The item number will just increase. And so this is just a way to sort your inventory. It doesn't sort your action bar. And the other thing in here, middle click on. What middle click means is if I click on an empty space in this inventory, it will sort it via the different sorting rules. So it'll just basically sort it through the 3 different sorting rules. And for your own inventory, it should do the same thing. It'll just basically sort it as if you basically had pressed the R button. Inventory Tweaks is very handy on organizing your inventory, and it has some neat options in it on basically refilling your items and stuff like that. And so that's all I really wanted to cover for Inventory Tweaks. When you've been playing on mod packs, you probably don't even realize that you're using it after you've been doing it for a while. So actually, when you join a game where they don't have inventory tweaks or NEI, you really feel it, because it's sort of like a crutch, but it's really handy. The main reason why I wanted to go over this is because someone made a comment on one of my videos on how painful it was to watch me filling in the recipes. And that's something that NEI can actually fix for me, and I didn't use it all of the time. So basically what NEI is it basically shows you all the items in the game that can be crafted or that are part of the game. As you can see, there's 39 pages of items. Now, the thing with NEI is that you can basically search for anything. So I could search for, say, a pulverizer, and it'll bring up everything that has this spelling. And when I click on this item, it will show me the recipe, and that's a left click on the item. Okay, it will show me how to make the item. So if you left click on something, it will show you how to make the item. So if I left click on pulverized iron, it'll show me that you can make it by putting iron ore in a pulverizer, or by putting iron ingot in a pulverizer. See? And so that's how you can make it. And these are all the ways that you can make iron ore. If I right click on an item in NEI, so if I right click on pulverized iron, what it will show me is what pulverized iron can be used for. And so as you can see here, pulverized iron can be used to make Invar blend by mixing it with 1 ferrous. Also, you can smelt it to make iron. And this is just another smelting technique. And this is just the ore dictionary, which will just basically tell you that all of the pulverized iron is the same as iron dust and stuff like that. And you can also put it in a smeltery. That's when you right click on any item, it will show you how it can be used in recipes, and if you left click, it'll show you how to make it. And so that's a very handy tool. The other thing that NEI adds is if I look in my inventory, if I pull up my inventory, if you press the R button while you're scrolled over an item, it will show you how you can make that item. And if you're scrolled over an item, if you press the U button, it will show you how that item is used. So it's very handy if you're out in the wilderness exploring and you find something new for the first time and you want to know what it's used for, you can basically scroll over it and press the U button and find out what it is. You could also just bring up this inventory and you could type it out, whatever it was, like let's say you found some coal in the and you wanted to figure out, what's coal used to make. Oh, you can make some coal blocks or some torches. So it's very handy for that. But there are a few other things that NEI adds that are not very common and maybe not widely used or known. So I'm just going to cover a few of those, and hopefully this will help you out when you're playing in any of your modded Minecraft. Not Enough Items adds this option tab down in the bottom left hand side when you basically click on your inventory. And if you click on inventory, you can enable or disable Not Enough Items, and you can change your mode. And basically, if you're in recipe mode, what happens is when you're searching not enough items, it will give you recipes. Utility mode, I'm not 100% sure on. And then cheat mode, what this would do is, I'll show you here. Now that I'm in cheat mode, if I left click on coal, it will actually give me a stack of coal. Okay. If I take this and throw it back in the inventory, it will trash it when you're in cheat mode. This is more of like a creative type mode using with NEI. If I right click on coal, it will only give me one, and I can trash it again. The other things that you can do with NEI is it adds these little tabs. Is you can basically set the times, the time of day. You can set your game mode to creative, turn rain on or off, turn magnet mode on, and turn delete mode on. And so you can use this in a creative way. On servers, basically only moderators will have access to any of the cheat functions, so you won't have to worry about your players playing on your server being able to cheat. It's only people that basically are been gifted that access. In a single player game, you can always turn it on and off, and you could cheat as much as you want, but I don't want to cheat in my game. I want to do it legit, so I'm going to go back to recipe mode. But I just wanted to show that part of NEI. The other thing I showed you before in Buildcraft Filler video was that when you press the F7 key, it will show you where mobs have the chance of spawning. And so once nighttime comes, basically there is a chance that mobs would spawn in here if I didn't have any torches. But by placing a torch down, now that no mobs can spawn here. And because it's day out right now, no mobs can spawn anywhere here. That's why it's yellow. But once night comes, this area here where it's all this yellow grid, hostile mobs could technically spawn. And by placing a torch in these areas, you basically stop mobs from spawning in those areas. So that was part of NEI, and it's a very useful tool for basically lighting up your bases. Another cool thing that NEI adds is if I scroll over this fire shard here with the mouse key, and I use my scroll wheel on my mouse, and I scroll up with it, it'll basically add items to my inventory one at a time. And if I scroll back, it'll suck them back into the inventory. So it's a quick way of getting a certain amount of items, rather than, a lot of times what I'll end up doing is I'll end up, right-clicking until I get the right amount of items. But if you want to do it in a much quicker way, you can basically scroll over it till you get to, I need 15. There, I'm good. So that's another thing that NEI adds to the game. One of the other really cool things that NEI adds is once you search a recipe, so I want to make an item frame. I actually need this for something that I want to do. So I need an item frame. So how do you make an item frame? This is a Minecraft item. As you can see, it's just some sticks around some leather. If I press the question mark, what it will do is it'll show in the crafting grid what items you need to place in what order. And basically you could go in and then fill it manually using, I could put in my sticks and I could put in the leather and I would have the item. But the other thing that you can actually do, if I click back on the item frame, this is left click. Now, if I shift left click the question mark, it'll automatically fill the crafting grid with the items needed to make the recipe if they're in your inventory. And then all you have to do is pull the item out of the crafting grid. And that's pretty cool. And that's something that can actually speed up crafting. And I should probably use it more often, especially with doing these videos, so that you don't have to waste time watching me fill in crafting grids. So I hope that this has been very helpful in actually showing you how you can actually use the full powers of NEI and inventory tweaks. Both of these mods are extremely useful. Pretty sure most people basically playing modded Minecraft couldn't get on without these mods. I mean, there are so many different items and recipes within the game that there's just no way that you can get away with it. I hope that this was useful. Until next time, Delgar out.